Have you ever pondered how the soulful melodies of Indian Hindi songs have evolved over the years? The journey takes us back to the 1950s, the dawn of Hindi film music, an era that was deeply rooted in Indian classical music. Indian Hindi songs of the 1950s were crafted with such sophistication, intricacy, and depth that they continue to resonate even today, 6 decades later. This era was characterized by a unique fusion of traditional Indian classical music with elements of folk and even Western music, resulting in a rich, diverse soundscape that was captivating, to say the least. Lending their genius to this musical revolution were prominent composers like S.D. Burman and Naushad. These maestros, with their extraordinary talent and creativity, pushed the boundaries of music composition. They created melodies that were not just pleasing to the ears, but also carried profound meanings and emotions, making them timeless classics. S.D. Burman, fondly known as the King of Melody, was renowned for his soulful tunes that often carried a touch of folk music. His compositions were a perfect blend of simplicity and depth, and they never failed to tug at the heartstrings. On the other hand, Naushad, another stalwart of this era, was famous for his opulent orchestration and his deep understanding of Indian classical music. His compositions were often grand, filled with intricate musical arrangements and beautifully woven ragas. The 1950s was also an era where the emphasis was more on the human voice. The songs were designed in such a way that they highlighted the vocal prowess of the singers. The lyrics were meaningful, thought-provoking, often poetic, and they played a significant role in enhancing the overall appeal of the songs. In essence, the 1950s was a period that valued melody, meaningful lyrics, and the human voice above all else. It was a time when music was not just about entertainment, but also about expressing deep emotions and telling compelling stories. So the 1950s laid a strong foundation for Hindi music, with its deep roots in Indian classical music and its emphasis on meaningful lyrics and melodious tunes. As we moved into the 1960s and 70s, Hindi film music entered what many consider its golden age. This period was marked by the emergence of new musical styles and influences that revolutionized the industry. The introduction of Western musical instruments like the guitar, saxophone, and piano breathed a fresh lease of life into the melodies, creating a beautiful fusion of East and West. This era saw the rise of legendary singers who left an indelible mark on the industry. Names like Lata Mangeshkar, whose crystal-clear and emotive voice touched millions, and Kishore Kumar, whose versatility as a singer knew no bounds, became household names. They were the soulful voices behind some of the most iconic songs of Indian cinema. The music directors of this era were no less influential. R.D. Burman, fondly known as Pancham Da, was a trendsetter. His experimental approach to music gave us unforgettable tunes that still resonate with us today. His ability to blend Indian classical music with Western elements was unparalleled, resulting in a unique sound that was both familiar and novel. But what truly set the Golden Age apart was the diversity of the music. From soul-stirring romantic ballads that expressed the yearnings of the heart to peppy dance numbers that got the entire nation grooving, the range was vast. Each song was a work of art, meticulously crafted to evoke specific emotions and moods. Whether it was a melancholic melody that tugged at your heartstrings or a lively track that made you tap your feet, the music from this era had something for everyone. It was a reflection of the times, capturing the joy, sorrow, hopes, and dreams of the people. The Golden Age truly was a period of musical diversity and innovation, bringing in influences from the West while maintaining the unique Indian essence. This era gifted us with timeless classics that continue to be loved and cherished, standing as a testament to the richness and depth of Indian Hindi music. The 1980s and 1990s marked a period of transition and transformation in the world of Hindi film music. This era was like a chameleon, changing its colors with the evolving trends and societal influences. The sounds of the traditional instruments began to mingle with the electronic beats, giving birth to a new genre of music that was both familiar and novel. The 80s brought a wave of disco and pop music that swept across the globe, and India was no exception. This was the era when the vivacious tunes of Bappi Lahiri, often referred to as the disco king of India, took the nation by storm. His music was flamboyant, energetic, and undeniably catchy. His compositions were a blend of Western disco and traditional Indian music, creating a unique soundscape that resonated with the young and old alike. As we moved into the 90s, the music scene began to shift again. This was the era of melody kings Kumar Sanu and Udit Narayan who, with their distinctive voices, captured the hearts of millions. Their soul-stirring renditions were a testament to the power of music and its ability to evoke emotions. Anu Malik, another influential figure of this era, introduced a more commercial and mass-appealing sound. His compositions were catchy and rhythmic, often incorporating elements of pop, rock, and electronic music. His music was a clear departure from the classical roots, yet it held a certain charm that was hard to ignore. This era was a melting pot of diverse musical styles and trends. The music directors were experimenting, pushing boundaries, and creating music that was in tune with the changing times. They were not afraid to innovate and adapt, and this courage to embrace change was reflected in their music. The music of the 80s and 90s was a reflection of the changing times, incorporating new trends and styles, yet holding on to the melodious charm. It was a period of transition, a period of transformation, and above all, a period of musical exploration that shaped the soundscape of Hindi film music as we know it today. Fast forward to the 21st century, and Hindi film music has undergone yet another transformation. From the melodious tunes of the 50s to the disco beats of the 80s, Hindi film music has always been a reflection of the times. And as we moved into the new millennium, the music industry was ready for another shift. This time, the influence came from the international music scene. Hip-hop, rap, and electronic dance music began to make their mark on Hindi film songs. This new wave of music brought with it a fresh energy and a youthful vibe that resonated with the younger generation. As the music evolved, so did the artists. Music directors like A.R. Rahman and Pritam started to experiment with these new styles, blending them with traditional Indian music to create a sound that was distinctly their own. Singers like Arijit Singh and Shreya Ghoshal brought a new depth to the music with their soulful voices and versatile singing styles. But this era of modern Hindi songs has not been without its controversies. As the industry began to shift towards more remixes, a debate sparked over the originality and quality of the music. Some argue that the focus on remixes has led to a decline in original compositions, while others believe that it's a way to introduce the younger generation to the classics in a new and exciting way. In the midst of this debate, it's important to remember that music, like any art form, is subjective. What one person may find appealing, another may not. And while the modern era has brought in a new wave of music, it doesn't diminish the beauty and charm of the songs from the past. While the modern era has brought in a new wave of music, it has also sparked a debate about the quality and originality of today's music. So, what does this journey through the evolution of Hindi film music tell us? We've traversed the vast landscape of Hindi film music, from its inception in the 1950s to the present day. Each era has had its distinctive flavor, its unique cadence, and its specific imprint on the culture of the time. In the dawn of Hindi songs, the 1950s brought us a genre that was deeply rooted in Indian classical music. The lyrics were poetic, the melodies simple and soulful. The songs were not just an accessory to the movies, they were integral to the narrative. The golden age, the 1960s to the 1980s, saw an explosion of creativity. Music directors experimented with various forms and genres, blending Indian and Western influences. The songs of this era are still cherished today, their timeless appeal transcending generations. As we moved into the 1990s and early 2000s, the music industry saw a significant transformation. The advent of technology influenced the composition and production of music. The songs became more upbeat, the lyrics more contemporary, and the music more global. From 2011 to the present day, the music scene has further evolved. The songs are a blend of various genres, from electronic dance music to hip-hop, reflecting the diverse musical tastes of the audience. There's an ongoing debate about the quality of modern music versus the older songs. Some argue that the older songs had more depth and soul, while others appreciate the innovation and diversity in modern music. In essence, the evolution of Hindi film music is a reflection of the changing times, the evolving tastes of the audience, and the creative genius of the musicians. It's a vibrant tapestry of sounds and emotions that has enriched our lives in countless ways. While the evolution of Hindi music has certainly been a fascinating journey, it's up to you, the listeners, to decide which era resonates most with your musical tastes.